Geometric dilution is a pharmaceutical process that thoroughly mixes a small amount of a drug with an appropriate amount of a diluent in an inert substance that binds the drug. It ensures equal distribution of the drug. In a more general sense, it is a technique used to aid in the distribution of smaller quantities of active ingredients into the larger bulk of the blend or mixture. In short, it is a process of diluting something based on its measured size. Thus, the word geometric dilution. One of the most commonly used geometric dilution methods is trituration. Trituration is the mixing of powders using mortar and pestle in a small batch quantities, adding the same amount of each substance and repeating the process until the entire amount of both substances have been mixed together. Let's discuss this in a step-by-step approach by considering this case. Suppose you have to prepare 1 gram of a solid mixture containing 25% of solid A and 75% of solid B. In this case, the diluent is solid B. First, weigh and take the powder of the smaller amount and place it in the mortar. In this case, weigh 0.25 grams of solid A. Then, add the powder, but only of equal, or add the other powder, but only of equal amount to the lesser powder. So in this case, add 0.25 grams of solid B, which is our diluent. Next, triturate the mixture for 5 minutes to promote uniform distribution. So how do you do that? Mix 0.25 grams of solid A with 0.25 grams of solid B in a mortar and pestle. Then, add the remaining powder equal to that in the mortar. Repeat the triturating process. So you have to add 0.5 grams of solid B and repeat the trituration process. So, let's head on to the lab and perform geometric dilution. Here are the materials and equipment needed for this short demo. An analytical balance. This is an enclosed and highly precise laboratory balance that measures the mass with high accuracy, up to 0.1 milligram. Next, we have the weighing paper. It acts as a thin, disposable surface for measuring our powdered substances. We'll also be using vials. This small container is perfect for holding and mixing our solid mixtures. Next up, mortar and pestle for grinding and mixing our solid samples into fine powder. Our solid samples include benzoic acid, glucose, and magnesium sulfate. Make sure to use a clean and unique spatula per sample to avoid cross-contamination. Now that we have our materials ready, let's start by placing our folded weighing paper on the balance pan. Close the balance door while weighing an object in order to prevent air currents from disturbing the reading. Press the tare button to reset the weight to 0. For this demo, we will prepare 25% glucose and 75% magnesium sulfate. Starting with glucose, carefully transfer 0.25 grams of glucose onto the center of the weighing paper. Allow the balance to stabilize, ensuring the reading on the display is accurate and steady. Record the measured mass of the solid sample. Carefully remove the weighing paper with the solid sample, ensuring not to disturb the balance or spill any material. Transfer the weighed glucose in the mortar before weighing the next solid, which is, in this case, magnesium sulfate. Perform the same steps for weighing 0.25 grams of magnesium sulfate. Measure the remaining amount of magnesium sulfate needed to prepare 75% magnesium sulfate, in this case 0.5 grams, and perform the same steps in weighing. Add 0.25 grams of magnesium sulfate, that is equal amount to the glucose initially measured. Using the pestle, fully triturate or finely grind the solid mixture. Hold the pestle firmly in your hand and rotate around against the side and bottom of the mortar. Use your other hand to grasp the mortar to hold it in place. Do this for a period of 5 minutes to promote uniform distribution and achieve better homogeneity. Collect the powder at the center of the mortar before adding an amount of the remaining solid. Add the remaining powder and repeat the triturating process. Carefully transfer the mixture to the weighing paper and scrape down the remaining solid to get as much solid as you can. Prepare your vial and properly label with the identity of the mixture. Lastly, carefully transfer your triturated solid mixture into the vial and be careful not to spill it around.